Today, my topic is chemical kinetics. New substances are formed as a result of chemical reactions through different rates. It is a matter of common experience that there is wide variation in the rate of which the chemical reactions take place. There are reactions such as precipitation of silver chloride on mixing the solution of silver nitrate with the solution of silver chloride. The reaction is completed in a fraction of a second. On the other hand, there are reactions which are very slow and take even one to complete. A very common example of such type of reaction is rusting of iron. Lastly, there are certain reactions, mainly organic reactions, which involve big molecules take place in a moderate, for example, inversion of sugar in aqueous solution, hydrolysis of ester, decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, decomposition of starch, etc. Chemists are interested in knowing the rate at which a particular reaction is taking place along with the mechanism followed by it. The branch of science which deals with the study of rates of reactions, the factors which govern these rates, and the mechanism followed by the reaction is called chemical kinetic. We will study about rate of reaction, rate law, order and molecularity, factors affecting the rate of reaction, concept of activation energy, derivation of rate constant for the various order reaction, etc. in this chapter. Rate of reaction. Change in the concentration of any of the reactants or products per unit time is called rate of reaction. Consider a hypothetical reaction A to B. The rate of reaction may be expressed first rate of disappearance of concentration of A. Rate of reaction is equal to decrease in concentration of A by time taken. Second, the rate of increase in concentration of B. Rate of reaction is equal to increase in concentration of B by time taken. The decrease or increase in concentration of reactant may also be expressed in unit change in their concentration during the time interval delta T as rate of reaction is equal to minus delta A by delta T or plus delta B by dt, where delta A gives the decrease in concentration of A and delta B gives the increase in concentration of B. The square brackets around the substance are used to express the molar concentration, and minus sign indicates the decrease in concentration of reactant while plus sign indicates the increase in concentration of product. The minus sign does not mean that the rate of reaction is negative. The rate of reaction is always positive. Thus, we can say that rate of reaction is equal to minus delta A by delta T or equal to delta B by delta T. Now let us define the rate of reaction involving different stoichiometric coefficients of reactants and product. Consider the reaction A plus B gives 2C. In this reaction, we may write 2 rate of disappearance of A is equal to 2 times into rate of disappearance of B equal to rate of appearance of C. Thus, for the above reaction, we may write rate of reaction is equal to minus delta A by delta T equal to minus delta B by delta T equal to 1 by 2 delta C by delta T. For example, the decomposition of gaseous nitrogen pentaoxide is 2N2O5 gives 4NO2 plus O2. The rate of this reaction may be written as rate of reaction is equal to minus 1 by 2 delta N2O5 by delta T equal to 1 by 4 delta NO2 by delta T equal to delta O2 by delta T. Expressing the rate of reaction. We know the rate of reaction is constantly changing during the course of reaction. Therefore, the rate of reaction at any small instant of time dt during which the rate of reaction may be considered to be constant. Let dx is small change in concentration of any one of the reactant or product during small interval of time dt. Thus, the rate of reaction may be written as rate of reaction is equal to dx by dt. When the rate of reaction is expressed in terms of one of the reactant, then the rate of reaction is equal to minus dx by dt. Negative sign shows decrease in concentration while positive sign shows increase in concentration. For example, let us consider a general reaction. A plus B gives out M plus N. The rate of reaction in terms of one of the product dx by dt equal to rate of reaction is equal to positive dm by dt equal to dn by dt. And in terms of one of the reactant, rate of reaction is equal to minus dA by dt equal to minus dB by dt, where dm, dn, dA and dB are very small changes in concentration of M, N, A and B respectively in very small interval of time dt. In general, we may write AA plus BB gives out MM plus NM. The rate of this reaction may be represented in terms of one of the reactants or products as rate of reaction is equal to minus 1 by A dA by dt equal to minus 1 by B dB by dt equal to plus 1 by M dm by dt equal to plus 1 by N dn by dt. Thus, we may define. Next, average rate and instantaneous rate. The rate expressions given so far give the average rate of reaction over the time interval. Thus, may be expressed as rate is equal to change of concentration by time interval equal to delta x by delta t. This concept is similar to mechanical speed. However, the concept of mechanical speed cannot be applied in measuring the rate of reactions. This is due to the fact that in case of reactions, the rate depends upon the concentration of the reactants. As the reaction proceeds, the concentration of the reactants keeps on decreasing. Thus, the rate of reaction may not be constant in the time interval which are measured. Thus, the rate cannot be determined simply by dividing the total change in concentration by the time taken, as in case of mechanical speed. On the other hand, the rate of reaction may be expressed at a particular moment of time. Thus, rate of reaction may be defined as the rate of change of concentration of any one of the reactant or product at a given time. Such a reaction rate is also known as instantaneous rate. For this purpose, the time interval delta t is made as small as possible so that the rate of reaction remains almost constant during that time interval. Mathematically, instantaneous rates may be represented by minus dA by dt or dB by dt instead of minus delta A by delta t or delta B by delta t respectively. Here dA or dB represent infinitesimally small changes in concentration of A or B in infinitesimally small interval of time dt. Thus, the average rate approaches the instantaneous rate as delta t becomes smaller and smaller. That is, minus delta A by delta t at delta t approaches to 0 is equal to minus dA by dt. In general, if dx represents very small change in concentration of a species during the very small change of time dt, the rate of reaction may be expressed as dx by dt. Next, measurement of rate of reaction. The rate of reaction is measured by measuring the concentration of one of the reactant or product at different intervals of time. Generally, small amount of reaction mixture is taken at different interval of time. Cool it down immediately at about 0 degrees Celsius to stop the reaction and determine the concentration of reactant or product by suitable method. The most commonly used methods are trigonometric method, optical rotation, conductance measurements, etc. Temperature plays very important role in chemical kinetics. Hence, temperature must be taken constant during the kinetic study of the reaction. The rate of reaction can be measured by plotting a graph between the concentration of the reactants or the products at different intervals of time. Consider the reaction between NO2 and CO. NO2 plus CO gives out NO plus CO2. The progress of the reaction can be studied by measuring the concentration of CO at different time intervals. A graph is then plotted between the concentration of CO and the time and the rate of reaction at any time may be obtained by following methods. First, draw a tangent on the curve at the point corresponding to the time at which the rate is required. The rate of the reaction is given by the slope of the tangent. Hence, slope is OB by OA is equal to delta x by delta t equal to dx by dt. Second, note the small change corresponding to small interval of time dt on the graph. Assuming the rate remains constant during this time interval, then the rate of reaction is given by dc by dt. 1.6 Factors affecting the rate of reaction. There are various factors which affect the rate of reactions. Some of important factors are: first, concentration of reactants; second, nature of reactants; third, temperature of the system; fourth, presence of catalyst; fifth, presence of radiation; sixth, surface area of reactant. First, concentration of the reactants. The concentration of the reactants go on decreasing with the passage of time. Since the rate of reaction also decreases with time, therefore one predicts that the rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of the reactants. On the basis of collision theory, it can also be argued that with the increase in concentration of the reactant, the number of molecular collisions increases and hence the rate of reaction also increases. The effect of concentration of reactant on the rate of reaction can easily be illustrated by taking an example of burning of wood. A piece of wood burns slowly in air but burns rapidly in pure oxygen. This is because the concentration of oxygen in air is less. Therefore, to increase the rate of reaction, the concentration of one of the reactant or all of them should be increased or vice versa. Second, nature of the reactant. The nature of the reactant plays very important role in influencing the rate of a reaction. For example, in the oxidation of nitric oxide and carbon monoxide by air respectively, the first reaction is much faster than the second at the same temperature. First, 2NO plus O2 gives out 2NO2 fast. 2CO plus O2 gives 2CO2 slow. In both these reactions, the oxidizing agent is the same, but in the first case, it is the nitric oxide which is to be oxidized, whereas in the second case, it is the carbon monoxide that has to be oxidized, and hence the difference in the rate of reactions. Another well-known example is the oxidation of ferrous and oxalate ions by acidified KMnO4. These reactions are given below. First, 5Fe2 positive plus MnO4 negative plus 8H positive give 5Fe3 positive plus Mn2 positive plus 4 times water molecule. It is a fast reaction. Second, 5C2O4 2 negative plus 2MnO4 negative plus 16H positive gives out 10 carbon dioxide plus 2Mn2 positive plus 8 water molecule. It is a slow reaction. The first reaction is very fast, whereas the second reaction is quite slow. Since permanganate ion is common in both the cases, so the difference lies in the nature of ferrous and oxalate ions. During the product formation, old bonds are broken and new bonds are formed, and nature and strength of each bond is different. Hence, rate of reactions are also different. Third, temperature of the system. Temperature has a great importance on reaction rates. In general, an increase in temperature increases the rate of almost all reaction. On the other hand, a decrease in temperature decreases the rate of reaction. This effect is observed for exothermic as well as endothermic reaction. A. For most of the reactions, the rate of reaction increases with rise of temperature. As a rough rule, in general, the rate of reaction becomes nearly double or sometimes even triple for every 10-degree rise of temperature. This is generally expressed in terms of in form of temperature coefficient as temperature coefficient is equal to K T plus 10 by KT, that is equal to 2 to 3, where Kt and Kt plus 10 are the specific reaction rates at T degrees Celsius and T plus 10 degrees Celsius respectively. To cite simple examples, the temperature coefficient for the dissociation of gaseous hydrogen iodine is 1.7, but for the combination of methyl iodine and sodium ethoxide in solution, the value is about 2.9. It is really a fantastic observation because the number of collision increases only by about 2% for every 10-degree rise at ordinary temperature, whereas the reaction velocity may increase by 100 or 200% or even more. B. A large number of reactions are known which do not take place at room temperature but occur readily at higher temperature. For example, reaction between hydrogen and oxygen to form water takes place only when an electric spark is passed. Similarly, it is well known that coal can be kept in oxygen for years without burning, but once the ignition is initiated, it goes on till the whole of coal burns away. The above observations are explained on the basis of collision theory. According to this theory, substances react because their molecules collide with each other. All collisions are, however, not effective collisions. An effective collision is that collision which results into a chemical reaction. In order that a collision may be effective, the colliding molecules must possess a certain minimum amount of energy called threshold energy. Thus, threshold energy may be defined as the minimum amount of energy between them may be an effective collision. The concept of effective collision and threshold energy is just like that some damage occurs to both colliding cars only if they have a certain minimum speed. If they collide with a speed less than the speed, no damage may occur to the car. The two types of cases may now be explained as follows. Explanation of the increase in reaction rate with the rise of temperature. The different molecules of the reactant do not possess the same energy. If the energies of the reacting molecules are plotted against the corresponding fractions at a particular temperature T, a curve of the type shown in figure 1.5a is obtained. If the figure ET represents the threshold energy, the shaded area represents the fraction of molecules with energies equal to or greater than the threshold energy ET. As the temperature is increased from T to T plus 10 degrees Celsius, the curve shifts as shown in figure 1.5p. The shaded area beyond ET now becomes almost double. This shows that the fraction of molecule possessing energy equal to or greater than the threshold energy becomes almost double. Hence, the rate of reaction almost becomes double. Explanation of the non-occurrence of reactions at room temperature and occurrence at higher temperature. At room temperature, there are no molecule possessing energy greater than the threshold energy, and so there is no reaction. When temperature is increased, the molecule of the reactant absorb heat energy and thus a number of molecules start attaining energy equal to or greater than the threshold energy and hence the reaction start. The extra amount of energy which the molecule of the reactant have to absorb so that their energy becomes equal to the threshold energy is called the activation energy. In other words, activation energy is equal to threshold energy minus energy actually possessed by the reacting molecules. Thus, in order that the reactants may change over to product, they have to absorb some energy and thus cross a barrier called activation energy barrier. The situation may be represented graphically as shown in figure 1.6. The concept of energy barrier may be further elaborated as follows. In order that the collision between the molecule A2 and B2 may be effective, they must first form a transitory intermediate called activated complex. In the formation of this complex, the bonds in the A2 and B2 are loosened and now new loose bonds between A and B are formed. Thus, the formation of AB molecules may be represented as follows. Consider a hypothetical gaseous reaction. A2 plus B2 gives 2AB. Thus, the energy barrier corresponds to the formation of an activated complex. Hence, the energy of activation may be defined as the difference between the energy of the reactant and that of the activated complex. Further, from figure 1.6, it may be seen that even though the energy of the product is lower than that of the reactant and the overall reaction is exothermic, still the system has to climb the energy barrier before it can change over the product with lower energy. Another important result that follows from the above discussion is as follows. Those reactions which otherwise look to be similar but have different rates can be explained on the basis of the fact that their energies of activations are different. The lower the value of the energy of activation, the higher will be the rate of reaction. Mathematically, it is observed that the fraction of molecules having energy in the range E to E plus dE is equal to E minus ERT. Hence, if Z is the collision frequency of binary collision, number of effective collision will be ZE E by RT. Hence, rate of reaction is equal to ZE to the power E by RT. Further, it is observed that in a number of cases, the experimental observed values of the rate of reaction are found to be less than those calculated from the above equation. This is because the rate of reaction depends not only upon the above equation. This is because the rate of reaction depends not only upon the energy factor but also upon the orientation factor. That is, the colliding molecule must have proper orientation at the time of collision. Taking this factor into account, we have rate of reaction is equal to P into ZE to the power E by RT, where P is called the probability or steric factor. Fourth, presence of catalyst. A catalyst is substance which increases the speed of reaction without itself undergoing any chemical change. For example, the decomposition of KClO3 is generally accelerated by the addition of a small quantity of MnO2, which itself does not undergo any chemical change during the reaction. The presence of a catalyst provides an alternate path with lower energy barrier as shown in figure 1.7. The energy of activation is lowered and hence a greater number of molecules can cross the barrier and change over to products. Further, from figure 1.7, the following two additional results may be derived. A. Delta E is equal to EP minus ER for the catalyst reaction is the same as delta E for the uncatalyzed reaction. B. For reversible reaction, the energy of activation for the reverse reaction is lowered to the same extent as for the direct reaction. Hence, the presence of catalysts in such reactions increase the speed of forward reaction and that of backward reaction to the same extent. Consequently, the equilibrium is attained quickly but is otherwise not disturbed. Concept of activation energy. It is a common laboratory observation that first, a mixture of oxygen and hydrogen may remain as such at room temperature, apparently without reacting. However, the moment an electric spark is passed through the mixture, the reaction proceeds instantaneously, almost explosively. Similarly, a mixture of methane and oxygen remains intact without reacting noticeably until a lighted matchstick is introduced into the mixture. Why is it so? Second, even when the concentration of reactant involved in two reactions are the same, one reaction may be very fast and other very slow. Thus, under similar conditions of temperature and pressure, the oxidation of nitric oxide is much faster than the oxidation of carbon monoxide. Why is it so? We may answer these questions on the basis of collision theory by involving the concept of activation energy. As discussed above, there is a certain minimum energy which the colliding molecule must acquire before they are capable of reacting. Most of the molecules, however, have much less kinetic energy than the threshold energy. The excess energy that the reactant molecule having energy less than the threshold energy must acquire in order to react to yield product is known as activation energy. Thus, activation energy is equal to threshold energy minus energy actually possessed by the molecules. According to this concept, non-active molecules can be activated by absorption of extra energy. This extra energy is evidently the activation energy. Concept of energy barrier. As discussed above, the reactant molecules have to acquire a certain amount of energy before they can react in collisions to yield product. In other words, there is an energy barrier placed between reactants and product. This barrier has to be crossed before reactant can yield product. This barrier determines the magnitude of threshold energy which reactant molecule must acquire before they can yield product. As is evident from figure 1.8, EA is the activation energy of the reactant. They must absorb this much of energy before they can react and change into product. The energy of the product is shown to be less than that of the reactant. This indicates that the reaction is exothermic. We can now easily answer the question posed above. A reaction will occur only if the required activation energy is supplied to the molecules. This is the reason that although the reaction between hydrogen and oxygen is highly feasible from the point of view of thermodynamics at the room temperature, yet it takes place at a noticeable rate only if the required activation energy in the form of electric spark or heat is supplied to the reactant. Further, different reactions require different amounts of activation energy. A reaction which requires a higher activation energy is slow at ordinary temperature. Consider the two reactions. NO plus half O2 gives NO2 is a fast. CO plus half O2 gives CO2 is slow. Referred to above, the first reaction is fast at ordinary temperature because it requires a comparatively lower activation energy. The second reaction is slow because it requires a comparatively higher activation energy. It is thus evident that whether a given reaction is slow or fast at a given temperature depends upon the activation energy of the reaction. A reaction which has lower activation energy will proceed at a faster rate at a given temperature. Thus, differences in activation energies are largely responsible for observed differences in the rate of reaction. Threshold energy. The maximum amount of energy which the colliding molecules must possess in order that the collision between them may be effective collision is called threshold energy. It is denoted by ET. Thus, ET is equal to internal energy of reactant or product plus activation energy. Activation energy. The amount of energy which the molecules of the reactant have to absorb so that their energy becomes equal to the threshold energy is called activation energy. It is denoted by EA. EA is equal to threshold energy minus internal energy possessed by the reaction by the reacting molecule. For exothermic reaction, EA backward is greater than EA forward, and for endothermic reaction, EA forward is greater than EA backward. So change of internal energy delta E is given by EA forward minus EA backward, that is negative for exothermic reaction while positive for endothermic reaction. Fifth, presence of radiations. The rate of certain reaction is increased by the use of certain radiation. The photon of these radiation having frequencies possess sufficient energy to break certain bonds in reactant. For example, reaction of hydrogen and chlorine takes place very slowly in the absence of light. However, in presence of light, the reaction takes place very readily. Sixth, surface area of reactant. The larger is the surface area of the reactant, the faster is the rate of reaction. It has been observed that if one of the reactant is a solid, then the rate of reaction depends upon the state of subdivision of the solid. This fact is supported by the general observation that finely divided solids react faster than massive substances. For example, a log of wood burns slowly, but if it is cut into small wooden chips, the burning takes place rapidly. This is due to the fact that the total surface area of the smaller particle is greater than of the larger particles, and this permits more molecules of reactant to come in contact and form products. 1.7 Rate law expression. The mathematical expression relating the concentration of reactant to the reaction rate is known as rate law or rate constant. For a simple one-step reaction, it is complete agreement with law of mass action. But in case of a complex reaction, it differs from the law of mass action. For example, let us consider a reaction. Ma plus Nb gives out product. Experimentally, it has been found that the rate of this reaction may not depend upon all the M concentrations of A and all N concentration of B, but depend upon a concentration of A and B concentrations of B. Thus, rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of A to the power A to the concentration of B to the power B, equal to K into concentration of A की power A into concentration of B to the power B, where Ca and Cb are the molar concentration or active masses of A and B respectively. K is known as the rate constant or the velocity constant. Let Ca equal to Cb equal to 1 mole per liter, then K is equal to 1. Thus, the rate constant or specific rate constant may be defined as the rate of the reaction when the concentration of the reactant is taken as unit. The relationship shown in equation 1 represents the actual or observed rate of a reaction in terms of concentration of the reacting species, which influence the rate of reaction. Hence, it differs from law of mass action. Thus, the rate law is dx by dt is equal to k Ca to the power A into Cb to the power B. 1.8 Order of reaction. The sum of the exponent to which the concentration terms must be raised in the rate law expression to express the observed rate of the reaction is called order of reaction. Dx by dt is equal to k into Ca to the power A into Cb to the power B. Total concentration terms is equal to A plus B. Thus, order of reaction is equal to A plus B. It can also be defined as the sum of the concentration terms on which the rate of a chemical reaction actually depends. Thus, order of reaction will be 0 if A plus B is equal to 0. First order if A plus B is equal to 1. For example, dissociation of N2O5 is 2N2O5 gives out 4NO2 plus O2. Experimentally, it is found that rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of N2O5. The rate of reaction depends only on one concentration term, thus the above reaction is first order reaction. Second, reaction between NO2 and F2 to form NO2F. 2NO2 plus F2 gives out 2NO2F. It is observed that rate of reaction is directly proportional to concentration of NO2 into concentration of F2. Here the rate of reaction depends upon the concentration of NO2 and F2, hence the above reaction is second order. Second order if A plus B is equal to 2 and so on. Thus, the order of reaction may be 0 and it may be in fraction also. For example, the decomposition of acetaldehyde at 723 Kelvin gives out methane plus carbon monoxide. So, the order of reaction is 1.5. Some other examples are given below. First, reaction of zero order. Combination of H2 and Cl2 in the presence of light gives 2HCl. Second, decomposition of ammonia. Ammonia decomposes to give N2 plus 3H2. Second, reaction of first order. Decomposition of N2O5 gives out 4N2O plus O2. Second, decomposition of hydrogen peroxide gives water plus half O2. Third, decomposition of ammonia nitrate gives N2 plus 2 water. Third, reaction of second order. First is combination of NO2 and F2 gives 2NO2F. Second, dissociation of Hi gives H2 plus I2. Third, hydrolysis of ester by an alkali such as sodium hydroxide gives CH3COONA plus ethanol. Fourth, reactions of third order, that is combination of NO and Cl2 gives 2NOCl. Second, combination of NO and O2 gives 2NO2. Order of complex reaction. There are certain reactions which take place in a number of steps, each represented by a simple balance step or equation. For example, 2N2O5 gives 4NO2 plus O2. It is supposed to take place in the following two steps. First, N2O5 gives NO3 plus NO2. Slow step. Second, NO3 plus N2O5 gives 3NO2 plus O2. Fast step. In such cases, the rate and hence order of the reaction will be determined by the slowest step. Thus, the reaction is first order. 1.9 Molecularity of a reaction. The number of atoms, ions or molecules actually taking part at a particular moment in a single step reaction is called molecularity of reaction. The reaction is termed as unimolecular, biomolecular, thermomolecular, etc. depending upon the number of species undergoing collision simultaneously. For example, first unimolecular reaction. N2O5 gives N2O4 plus half O2. Second, bimolecular reaction. CH3COOC2H5 plus NaOH gives CH3COONA plus C2H5OH. Third, thermomolecular reaction. 2NO plus O2 gives 2NO2. It may be remembered that the molecularity does not have any meaning for complex reaction. It is applicable only to elementary steps. Second, molecularity of a reaction must always be a whole number and never be in fractions or zero. Hence, the decomposition of N2O5 is a first order reaction. Difference between molecularity and order of reaction. First, molecularity is the number of atoms, ions or molecules actually taking part at a particular moment in a single step chemical reaction. First, it is the sum of the exponent to which the concentration term must be raised in the rate law equation. Molecularity of a reaction. Second, it is always a whole number. Order of reaction may be a whole number, zero, or even a fraction. Molecularity can be determined by adding the molecules of the slowest step order in an experimental value and is cannot be determined from the stoichiometry of the reaction. The overall molecularity of a complex reaction has no meaning. It is for simple elementary step. Order of a complex reaction is the order of the slowest step involved in it. 1.10 Mechanism of reaction and chemical kinetics. Simplest possible reactions from the chemical point of view do not proceed as simply as the chemical equation suggests. They take place in a number of steps and are called complex reaction. The primary aim of the study of reaction kinetic is to establish the succession of elementary reaction whose net result is any given reaction. These steps taken together are called mechanism of the complex reaction. It is evident that the slowest of this chain of reactions determines the speed of the reaction. So, the slowest elementary reaction is called the rate determining step. Some examples are discussed below. First, thermal decomposition of N2O5. This is represented as 2N2O5 gives 4NO3 plus O2. Experimentally, it has been found that it is a first order reaction and its rate is given by rate of reaction is equal to K into N2O5. This means that this reaction does not proceed in a single step but in more than one step, and one step involves one molecule of N2O5 probably follows the following mechanism. N2O5 gives out NO2 plus NO3. B. N2O5 plus NO3 gives 3NO2 plus O2. The first step being slow is the rate determining step and hence the overall reaction is of first order. Second, bromination of acetone. Acetone plus Br2 in presence of H positive ions give CH3CO CH2Br plus HBr. This is yet another typical example of the first order known to take place in a number of steps. In this reaction, the rate of reaction is given by rate of reaction is equal to K into concentration of acetone. That is, the rate of reaction is found to vary only with the concentration of acetone and is independent of the concentration of bromine. The reaction is thus of first order. Therefore, the suggested mechanism is as follows. A. Acetone gives out CH3COH CH2. B. The reactant term plus Br gives out CH3COH Br CH2Br. C. CH3COH Br CH2Br give CH3CO CH2Br plus HBr. Third, combination of nitrogen dioxide and fluorine. 2NO2 plus F2 gives 2NO2F. Experimentally, the reaction was found to obey the following rate equation. dx by dt is equal to K into concentration of NO2 into concentration of F2. This indicates that the reaction is of second order and the most likely mechanism of the reaction is as under. A. NO2 plus F2 gives out NO2F plus F. B. F plus NO2 gives out NO2F. The first step being slow is the rate determining step and hence the reaction is of second order. Fourth, oxidation of hydrogen bromide in oxygen. This reaction takes place at a temperatures between 400 to 600 degrees Celsius at a very fast rate. 4HBr plus O2 gives 2H2O plus 2Br2. Experimentally, it has been observed that the rate of reaction is given by dx by dt is equal to dBr by dt equal to K into concentration of HBr into concentration of O2. This means that the reaction mechanism must contain a slow step which consists of one molecule of HBr and one molecule of oxygen. Fifth, reduction of gaseous nitric oxide by hydrogen. This reaction is represented as 2NO plus H2, 2H2 gives N2 plus 2 water molecule. Experimental observation reveals that the rate of reaction is given by dx by dt is equal to dN2 by dt is equal to K into concentration of NO raised to the power 2 into concentration of H2, and the reaction is of third order. It is obvious that the above reaction must proceed by a number of simple steps, and one of the steps should contain 2 molecules of NO and 1 molecule of H2. 1.11 Zero order reaction. Those reactions in which the rate of reaction is not affected by the change in concentration of any of the reactant are called zero order reaction. For example, H2 plus Cl2 in presence of light gives 2HCl. 2 mole of ammonia gives out N2 plus 3H2. In these reactions, the rate of reaction is independent upon the concentration of reactant. Hence, these reactions are zero order reaction. In such, the rate may be determined by some other factor such as the amount of catalyst used in the catalytic reaction or intensity of light absorbed in a photochemical reaction. Mathematically, for a zero order reaction, A gives out product. So R is equal to minus dA by dt is equal to K naught. K naught rate constant. On rearranging the equation, we get minus dA is equal to K naught dt. If T is equal to 0, then initial concentration of the reactant A naught and the concentration at T is equal to A, then integration is K naught T is equal to A naught minus A. Hence, K naught is equal to A naught minus A by T. K naught is equal to 1 by time into concentration, that is mole per liter by time. So, unit of rate constant is mole per liter time inverse. Half-life of zero order reaction. For half-life period, T is equal to T half and concentration of A is equal to concentration of A naught by 2. The rate law equation for zero order is K naught T is equal to concentration of A naught minus concentration of A. For half-life period, the above equation becomes T half is equal to A naught by 2 K naught, or T half is directly proportional to concentration of A naught. Thus, the half-life period of a zero-order reaction is directly proportional to the initial concentration of the reactant. 1.12 Reaction of first order. A reaction is said to be a first order reaction if the rate of reaction depends only upon one of the concentration terms. For example, decomposition of N2O5 gives 4NO2 plus O2. Second, decomposition of ammonium nitrate. Derivation of rate constant. Let us consider a general reaction. A gives out product. Let us start the reaction with A moles per liter of A, and after time T, X moles per liter of A decompose. Then the concentration of A after time T will be A minus X moles per liter. Now, according to the law of mass action, rate of reaction is directly proportional to A minus X is equal to K into A minus X, where K is called the rate constant or specific reaction rate of first order. From equation first, we get dx by A minus X is equal to K dt. On integration, we get minus In of A minus X is equal to Kt plus C, where C is an integration constant. When time is equal to, when t equal to 0, x is equal to 0, that is the amount decomposed is 0. Substituting these values in equation 2, we get In of A minus In of A is equal to C. Putting this value of C in equation 2, we get K is equal to 2.303 by T into log of A minus X. This equation 3 is known as the first order reaction rate equation. Let the initial concentration is C naught and the concentration after time t is Ct. Then A is equal to C naught and A minus X is equal to Ct. So equation 3 may be written as K is equal to 2.303 T into log of C naught by Ct, or Kt is equal to ln of C naught by Ct, or minus Kt is equal to ln of Ct by C naught. After taking antilog from both sides, we get Ct is equal to C naught e to the power minus Kt. So equation 4 and 5 are other forms of the first order reaction. Units of K. From the equation of rate constant, it is clear that K depends upon time t and the ratio of two concentrations. The units of concentration cancel each other and therefore the rate constant depends only upon the units of the time and is independent of concentration unit. Thus, the units of K are second inverse, minute inverse, hour inverse depending upon the time expressed in second, minutes or hours. Important characteristics of first order reaction. First, as discussed above, a change in concentration unit does not change the rate constant. Second, if the rate equation for the first order is given by K is equal to 2.303 T by T log of A by A minus X, then K by 2.303 into T is equal to log of A by A minus X, that is log A minus log A minus X. Hence we may write equal to minus K by 2.303 into T plus log A. If log A minus X is plotted against T, the graph obtained should be a straight line with a slope equal to minus K by 2.303. Half-life period. The time taken for half of the reaction to be completed is called half-life period. An important characteristic of first order reaction is that the half-life period or any fractional life period is independent of original concentration. Let us find out the half-life period of a first order reaction. The rate equation for the first order reaction is K is equal to 2.303 by T into log of A by A minus X. If T is equal to T half and X is equal to A by 2, therefore K is equal to 2.303 by T half log of A by A minus A by 2 equal to 2.303 into log 2 by T half. Hence, T half is equal to 0.693 by K. As there is no A term in the above expression, therefore half-life period is independent of initial concentration. Units of first order reaction rate constant, that is second inverse or minute inverse or time inverse. 1.13 Pseudo-unimolecular reactions. Consider the following acid catalyst reaction. First, hydrolysis of ethyl acetate gives out acetic acid plus ethyl alcohol. Second, inversion of cane sugar, that is sucrose plus water, gives out glucose plus fructose. Both the above reactions are bimolecular but are found to be of first order, as experimentally it is observed that for the first order reaction, rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of ethyl acetate only, and for the second reaction, rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of sucrose only. The reason for such a behavior is obvious from the fact that water is present in such a large excess that its concentration remains almost constant during the reaction. Such reactions, which involve more than one molecule but are of first order, are called pseudo-unimolecular reaction. The kinetics of the above reaction have been studied as follows. First, hydrolysis of ethyl acetate. Ethyl acetate plus water gives acetic acid plus ethyl alcohol. In this reaction, acetic acid is one of the product, the amount of which can be found by titrating against standard NaOH solution. But being an acid catalyst reaction, the acid present originally as a catalyst also react with sodium hydroxide solution. Hence, a little careful thought reveals that for the same volume of reaction mixture withdrawn at different times, volume of NaOH solution used in the beginning, that is at 0 time, V0 is directly proportional to the amount of acid present only as catalyst. Volume of NaOH solution used at any instant t of time V1 is directly proportional to the amount of acid present as catalyst plus amount of acetic acid produced. Equation 2. Combining result first and 2, we find that amount of acetic acid produced at any time at any instant of time is directly proportional to Vt minus V0. But amount of acetic acid produced at any instant t of time is directly proportional to amount of ethyl acetate that has reacted, that is X. Hence further, X is directly proportional to V1 minus V0. Volume of NaOH solution used after the reaction has taken place for a long time, say 24 hours or so called infinite time V infinite, is directly proportional to the amount of acid present as catalyst plus maximum amount of ethyl alcohol maximum amount of acetic acid produced. Combining result first and sixth, we find that maximum amount of acetic acid produced is directly proportional to V infinite minus V0. But maximum amount of acetic acid produced is directly proportional to initial concentration of ethyl CH3COOCH3. Hence, A is directly proportional to V infinite minus V0. From equation 5th and 6th, we have A minus X is equal to V infinite minus V0 minus Vt minus V0 equal to V infinite minus Vt. So, K is equal to 2.303 by T into log of A by A minus X equal to 2.303 by T into log of V infinite minus V0 by V infinite minus Vt. Second, inversion of cane sugar. Some other examples of first order reaction. First, decomposition of benzene disonium chloride. In aqueous solution, benzene disonium chloride on heating liberate nitrogen gas. It is observed that volume of N2 gas evolved from benzene disonium chloride may be used as a measure of the decrease in concentration of the diazo compound. The course of reaction was followed by measuring the volume V of nitrogen evolved at various time intervals. Volume of nitrogen evolved at any time Vt alpha, amount of diazosol dissociates, that is X is directly proportional to Vt. Volume of nitrogen evolved at infinite time V infinite is directly proportional to amount of diazosol initially present, that is A is directly proportional to V infinite. Substituting these values in equation of first order reaction, K is equal to 2.303 T by log into log of A by A minus X. We get K is equal to 2.303 by T into log of V infinite by V infinite minus Vt. Since the value of K exhibits satisfactory consistency, this is a first order. Second, decomposition of azoisopropane. The decomposition of azoisopropane is an example of first order homogeneous gaseous reaction. The reaction occurs on heating. Reactants and products are all in gaseous state. Therefore, the kinetic of the reaction can be studied by measuring the pressure of the reaction mixture at different intervals of time. Let the initial pressure of azoisopropane be P naught and P be the total pressure of the reaction system. Let P be the decrease in pressure of azoisopropane all at time t and Pa be the pressure of the azoisopropane. For every molecule of azoisopropane decomposes, one molecule of N2 and one molecule of hexane are produced. As a result, the pressure increases with the passage of time. At each stage of the reaction, pressure of azopropane, that is Pa, is equal to P naught minus P, where P is the decrease in pressure of azoisopropane. The pressure of each of N2 and hexane increases and will be P. The total pressure of the system is given by the sum of the partial pressures of azoisopropane Pa, nitrogen Pn2 and hexane. That is, P is equal to Pa plus Pn2 plus Pc6H14 is equal to P naught plus P. From equation second, we get P is equal to P minus P naught. But Pa is equal to P naught minus P. Substituting from third the value of P, we get Pa is equal to 2P naught minus P. The initial concentration of azoisopropane, that is P naught, will be proportional to A, and Pa is, that is, concentration of azoisopropane that is left after the time t, will be proportional to A minus X, that is, A is directly proportional to P naught. Hence, we get K is equal to 2.303 by T into log of P naught by 2 P naught minus P. Third, decomposition of ammonium nitrate. Ammonium nitrate decomposes at any moderate temperature in aqueous solution is given by ammonium nitrate gives N2 plus 2 water molecule. The kinetic of reaction is studied by measuring the volume of nitrogen gas evolved at regular intervals of time. From the above reaction, it is clear that amount of ammonium nitrate decomposed is directly proportional to volume of nitrogen gas evolved at that time Vt, and initial concentration of ammonium nitrate is directly proportional to volume of nitrogen gas evolved at infinite time V infinite. Therefore, X is directly proportional to Vt, that is, A is directly proportional to V infinite. Substituting these values in first order reaction, we get K is equal to 2.303 by T into log of V infinite by V alpha minus Vt. Since the value of K in this reaction comes out to be constant, thus it is a reaction of first order. Fourth, decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. This reaction occurs in presence of a finely divided platinum. 2H2O2 in the presence of platinum gives 2H2O plus O2. The kinetic of the reaction can be studied by two ways. First, by measuring the volume of oxygen evolved during the decomposition of H2O2 after different intervals of time. Second, by measuring the volume of H2O2 solution by titrating against standard KMnO4 solution at regular intervals of time during the course of reaction. It is observed that the decomposition of H2O2 occurs in two steps. First, H2O2 gives out water plus nascent oxygen. Second, nascent oxygen plus two nascent oxygens gives O2. Step first is the rate determining step. Let the volume of standard KMnO4 solution used when T is equal to 0 be V naught, and it will be proportional to the initial concentration of H2O2. And the volume of KMnO4 solution used at any time is proportional to the concentration of H2O2 at that time. Thus, Volume of KMnO4 solution used before the commencement of the reaction, that is at 0 time V0, is directly proportional to initial concentration of H2O2, that is A is directly proportional to V0. Volume of KMnO4 solution used at any instant t of time t is directly proportional to amount of H2O2 at time t into A minus x. Substituting these values in the first order reaction, we get K is equal to 2.303 by T into log of V0 by Vt. The decomposition of hydrogen peroxide as tested by this equation is found to be a first order reaction. Fifth, decomposition of N2O5. The compound N2O5 is a volatile solid which decomposes in the gaseous state as well as in the solution in inert solvent like CCl4 chloroformate. The decomposition takes place as N2O5 gives out N2O4 plus half O2. N2O4 gives out 2NO2. Hence, rate is directly proportional to the concentration of N2O5. Therefore, it is a first order reaction. It is observed that volume of oxygen collected at any moment of time t is equal to Vt is directly proportional to amount of N2O5 reacted at time t, that is A is directly proportional to Vt. Volume of oxygen gas collected at infinite time is directly proportional to amount of N2O5 initial taken. This is done on heating the reaction mixture, that is A is directly proportional to V infinite. These values when substituted in the rate equation of first order, we get K is equal to 2.303 by T into log of V infinite by V infinite minus Vt. Since the value of K in this reaction every time comes out to be the constant, this reaction is of first order. Sixth, isomeric change of N-chloroacetanildehyde to P-chloroacetanildehyde. This reaction in acidic medium is shown as. The kinetics of this reaction is based upon the N-chloroacetanilide reacts with Ki in acidic medium liberated iodine gas while P-chloroacetanilide does not. 2Ki plus H2SO4 gives K2SO4 plus 2 nascent hydrogen. Iodine produced is titrated against standard solution of hypo using starch as indicator. It is observed that volume of hypo solution in the beginning when T is equal to 0 is directly proportional to the amount of I2 liberated at that stage is directly proportional to amount of N-chloroacetanilide present in the starting. Thus, A is directly proportional to V0. Similarly, volume of hypo solution used at any time t, that is Vt, is directly proportional to amount of I2 liberated at time t is directly proportional to amount of N-chloroacetanilide present at time t. Hence, A minus x is directly proportional to Vt. Thus, the expression to calculate the rate constant of this reaction is given by K is equal to 2.303 by T into log of V0 by Vt. Next is second order reaction. Those reactions whose rate is determined by the variation of two concentration terms are called second order reaction. For example, formation of hydrogen iodide, hydrolysis of ester by alkali. Derivation of rate constant. Second order reactions are of two types. First, when the rate is proportional to the square of concentration of the same reactant. B, when rate is proportional to the product of the concentration of two reactants. A, when the rate is proportional to the square of concentration of the same reactant. Let us consider the general equation. 2A gives product. Thus, the rate law for the equation is R is equal to dx by dt is equal to K2 into A minus X the whole square, where A is the initial concentration of A, X is the concentration of the product formed after time t, and A minus X is the concentration remaining at time t. K2 is the rate constant. So equation 1 can be written as dx by A minus x whole square is equal to K2 dt. On integrating the equation, we have minus 1 of A minus x into minus 1 is equal to K2t plus c. That is 1 by A minus x is equal to K2t plus c, where c is the integration constant. To determine the value of c, let t is equal to 0, x equal to 0. The equation will be c is equal to 1 by a. Putting this in equation 4, we get k2 is equal to 1 by t into x by a into a minus x. B. When the rate is proportional to the product of concentration of two reactants. Consider the second order reaction. A plus B gives out product. If the initial concentration of A and B each is equal to a mole per liter, then the method of derivation and the ultimate expression would be same as in the above case. However, if the initial concentration of A and B are different, then the expression for the rate constant is derived as follows. Let the initial concentration of A is equal to A mole per liter and that of B is equal to B mole per liter. Thus, concentration A left at time t is equal to A minus x mole per liter and concentration of B left at time t is equal to B minus x mole per liter. Thus, rate law for this reaction is equal to rate is directly proportional to concentration of A into concentration of B is equal to K into A minus x and B minus x. Hence, K2 dt is equal to dx by A minus x into B minus x. Resolving the left hand side into partial fractions, equation 2 can be written as 1 by A minus B into 1 by B minus x minus 1 by A minus x into dx is equal to K2 dt. Integrating equation 3, we get 1 by A minus B into ln of A minus x by B minus x is equal to K2t plus I, where I is known as integration constant. Let t is equal to 0, x equal to 0. Putting these values in equation 4, we get 1 by A minus B into ln of A by B is equal to I. Thus, equation 4 will be k is equal to 2.303 by t into A minus B into log of B of A minus x by A into B minus x. Unit of rate constant is liter per mole per second. Characteristics of second order reaction. First, the second order reaction follow the second order rate constant expression. The value of rate constant on substituting the values of variable in the above expression must be constant. Second, the unit of rate constant for second order reaction depends on the unit of time and the unit in which the concentration is expressed. It can be calculated as we know k is equal to 1 by t into x by a into a minus x is equal to 1 by time into concentration, that is time inverse into concentration inverse. Half-life period for second order reaction. For half-life period, t is equal to t half and x is equal to a by 2. We know the second order rate constant expression, that is k is equal to 1 by t into x of x by a into a minus x. Hence we get t half is equal to 1 by Ka, or t half is directly proportional to 1 by A. The half-life period for the second order reaction in which one reactant involved is inversely proportional to the initial concentration of the reactant. In general, the time taken for any fraction to be completed is inversely proportional to the initial concentration. That is, time is directly proportional to 1 by initial concentration of reactant. Test for second order reaction. Second order reaction may be tested by two methods. First, integration method. In this method, the value of specific rate constant K2 is calculated by substituting the amounts of reacting substances consumed at different intervals of time in the reaction. K2 is equal to 1 by T into X by A into A minus X is equal to 2.303 by T into A minus B into log of B of A minus X into A into B minus X. The constant value of K2 at different interval of time indicates the reaction under consideration is of second order. Second, graphical method. The above equation for different substances K is equal to 2.303 by T into A minus B log of B into A minus X by A into B minus X can be written as 2.303 by AB into log of A minus X by B minus X is equal to KT minus 2.303 by A minus B into log of B by A. In this equation, it is an equation of a straight line. Plot of 2.303 by A minus B into log of A minus X by B minus X against T should be a straight line with slope equal to K and intercept equal to minus 2.303 by A minus B into log of B minus A. B by A. This is shown in the figure. Next are the examples of the second order reaction. First is saponification of ester. The reaction of ester and sodium hydroxide is called saponification of ester. This reaction is the example of second order. The kinetics of this reaction involves the concentration of ester as well as concentration of sodium hydroxide. Hence, this reaction is of second order reaction. The experiment involves in taking down concentration of ethyl acetate and sodium hydroxide. The concentration of sodium hydroxide at any instant of time can be found by titrating it against standard solution of acid. Thus, volume of standard acid used at the starting of the experiment, that is at 0 time, is directly proportional to the initial concentration of sodium hydroxide, that is A is directly proportional to V0. Volume of standard acid solution at any instant of time t is directly proportional to concentration of NaOH at that instant, that is A minus X is directly proportional to Vt. From equation first and second, we get K2 is equal to 1 by T into V0 minus Vt by V0 into Vt. The constant value of Kt shows that this reaction is of second order. Second is thermal decomposition of acetaldehyde. Thermal decomposition of acetaldehyde is accompanied by an increase in the number of moles of the gaseous product. The pressure of the reaction increases. The process of the reaction can be followed by examining the pressure of the reaction system at various intervals of time. The pressure increases as the reaction progresses. Let P0 be the initial pressure of acetaldehyde. Let P be the decrease in pressure of acetaldehyde at time t. The pressure of acetaldehyde at time t is equal to P0 minus P. As each molecule of acetaldehyde on decomposition gives one molecule of methane and one molecule of carbon monoxide, the pressure of each of methane and carbon monoxide at time t will be P. Let P be the total pressure of the reaction mixture at time t. It will be equal to the sum of the partial pressures of acetaldehyde, methane and carbon monoxide. Now, X is directly proportional to P, that is, and A is directly proportional to P0. So we can write A minus X is directly proportional to P0 minus P. According to the rate equation for the second order reaction, substituting the various values, we get K is equal to 1 by T into P naught P minus P naught by 2 P naught into 2 P naught minus P. Equation 1 is used to calculate the rate constant for thermal decomposition of acetaldehyde. Next is reaction of third order. Those reactions whose rate is determined by the variation of three concentration terms are called third order reaction. Third order reaction are of three types. First, when all the three reactants are same. Second, when two reactants are same and one is different. And third, when all the three reactants are different. Here we will discuss only first type, that is when all the three reactants are same. Example of third order. First, combination of NO and Cl2. Second, combination of NO and O2. Derivation of rate constant. Let us consider a three order reaction of the type 3A gives product. Let A be the initial concentration of A and X is the amount of A that has reacted at time t, so that amount T remaining at time t is A minus X. The rate equation is R is equal to dx by dt is equal to K3 into A minus X to the power 3. K3 is the third order reaction rate constant. Separating the variable and integrating, we get 1 by 2 into A minus X whole square is equal to K3T plus C. To determine the integration constant C, we know that T is equal to 0, X is equal to 0, so that C is equal to 1 by 2A square. Substituting these values and solving for K3, we get K3 is equal to 1 by 2T into X into 2A minus X by A square into A minus X whole square. Units of third order rate constant. K is equal to liter square mole inverse square time inverse. From equation 6, K is equal to 1 by 2T into X into 2A minus X by A square into A minus X whole square. Looking at the third order rate equation, we find that there are 4 concentration terms in the denominator, whereas there are only 2 concentration terms in the numerator. Therefore, the third order rate constant, unlike the first order rate constant on the units in which the units of the reactants are expressed dimensionally, K is equal to liter inverse square mole inverse square and second inverse. Important characteristics of third order reaction. First, third order reaction follows the rate law. Dx by dt is equal to K into A minus X whole cube. The rate constant for third order may be calculated by the expression K3 is equal to 1 by 2T into X into 2A minus X by A square into A minus X whole square. The value of K3 is calculated by substitution method or by the graphical method. The details of graphical method is given by, we know for third order reaction A minus X is directly proportional to CA. So A is directly proportional to CA to the values naught. From equation 1 we get 1 by CA square is equal to K into 2T plus 1 by CA naught square. Plot graph between 1 by CA square and T. The graph will be a straight line and the slope of line is equal to 2A and the intercept is 1 by A square. Hence, from the slope, the third order rate constant can be obtained. K3 is equal to slope by 2. Third, the unit of K3 is mole inverse square, liter square, time inverse square. Fourth, the time taken for any fraction of the reaction to be completed is inversely proportional to the square of the initial concentration. Let us calculate the time taken for half of the reaction to be completed. For half-life period, X is equal to A by 2 and T is equal to T half. Putting these values in the expression of rate constant for third order reaction, T half is directly proportional to 1 by A square. Thus, it can be seen for any fraction of the reaction to be completed is inversely proportional to the square of the initial concentration. Examples of third order reaction. First, reaction between NO and halogen such as Cl2, Br2, etc. are the examples of third order reaction. Reaction of higher order. There are large number of reactions which follow first order chemical kinetics. The reactions of second order are less in number, the reactions of third order are still less, and the reaction of the fourth or higher order are very rare. This is because the rate of a chemical reaction depends upon the number of collisions taking place simultaneously between reacting molecules. The chances of simultaneous collisions will go on decreasing as the number of molecules increases or as the order of reaction increases. For example, in fourth order reaction, for the reaction to occur, it is necessary that all the four reacting molecules should come in contact and collide simultaneously. The possibility of their simultaneous collision is very small as compared to biomolecular reactions. Hence, the third molecular reaction and reactions of higher order are very rare. Methods of determining the order of reaction. The complications in a reaction often lead to erroneous value of the order of reaction. It is therefore desirable to determine the order of reaction in the initial stage of the reaction when only a small amount of reaction has occurred and the complications are minimum. Various methods used to determine the order of reaction are given below. First, use of integral equation. In this method, concentrations of the reactant after various intervals of time are determined by analysis. The experiment data thus obtained is substituted in the various integral equation for first, second and third order reaction. That is, the equation which gives the most concordant constant value for the rate constant correspond to the correct order of the reaction. K is equal to x by t for zero order reaction. K is equal to 2.303 by t into log of A by A minus x for first order reaction. K is equal to 1 by t into x by A into A minus x for second order reaction. And K is equal to 1 by 2t into x into 2a minus x by A square into A minus x whole square for third order reaction. In this method, one equation after the other is tried till the correct equation is known. Since this method involves the trial of different equations, it is a hit and trial method. Second, by using differential rate equation. We know the rate of reaction of nth order is proportional to the nth power of concentration. That is, R is equal to K into C to the power n, where K is the rate constant for the reaction and C is the concentration at the instant of time t when the rate is R. Hence, for two different concentration, R1 is equal to K C1 to the power n and R2 is equal to K into C to the power n. So, R1 by R2 is equal to C1 by C2 to the whole power n, or log of R1 minus log of R2 is equal to n times of log of C1 minus log C2, or n is equal to log R1 minus log R2 by log C1 minus log C2. Thus, to calculate the value of order n, we require to know the values of the rates R1 and R2, or dC1 by dt and dC2 by dt at two different concentrations C1 and C2 respectively. These may be found by the following method. A. The change in concentration is in an appreciable interval of time may be measured. The value delta C by delta T may then be assumed to be equal to dC by dt at the mean value of C in the interval considered. Two different intervals may be considered during the course of reaction, and the values of dC1 by dt and dC2 by dt may be obtained corresponding to the concentration C1 and C2. Third, by fractional change method. We know that time required for the completion of same fraction of change is independent of the initial concentration in a first order reaction. It is inversely proportional to the initial concentration in case of second order reaction and is inversely proportional to the square of initial concentration in case of third order reaction. That is, if T is directly proportional to 1 by A naught for first order reaction, and T is directly proportional to 1 by A for second order reaction, and T is directly proportional to 1 by A square for third order reaction. Hence, in general, the time required for completion of same fraction of change is inversely proportional to the initial concentration raised to the power n, where n is the order of reaction. If T is directly proportional to 1 by A to the power 1 n minus 1, let T1 and T2 be the times required for completing the same fraction of change with different initial concentrations A1 and A2. Let n be the order of reaction, then T1 is directly proportional 1 by A1 to the power n minus 1 and T2 is directly proportional to 1 by A2 to the power n minus 1. Dividing both the equations, we get T2 by T1 is equal to A1 by A2 to the whole power n minus 1. On taking logs on the both sides of the equation, we get n is equal to 1 plus log T2 minus log T1 by log A1 minus log A2. Therefore, from two different concentrations A1 and A2 of the reactant at two different times T1 and T2 for completing the same reaction, we can determine the order of reaction. Thank you.